That there is a youth movement going on in this valley? Yeah? Yeah. And through all your guys' years of continued support and giving, we were able to bless this youth movement with some $5,000 to help them get stuff going and doing that. Well, we have a couple of the members of that movement here, the leaders, and one of them is going to be speaking to us today. So Jim, would you come on up? And next week, Alyssa Lashway is going to be here giving us a ministry update on what they're doing in Butte, too. Through Chi Alpha, yep. Okay, you're up here. Right here. Right.
All right. I despise talking in front of people, so so we're going to power through this and get you guys out of here fast, all right? That's my guarantee for you. So last summer we started a Bible study for basically disgruntled people, and we named it The Wilderness. And so that was last summer. Just a handful of guys. We had kind of the same thought process, and we're going through the same things about wondering what the purpose was, what we're doing, why God wasn't using us the way we wanted to be used. And out of that came an idea, which was, well, we can change a lot of these problems if the next generation is on that page. And so that's where Echo came from. Echo came out of a Bible study of 5 or 6 disgruntled people, and it gave us the purpose we needed to start this youth movement. So Echo is it's a youth movement. It goes from basically from Clark Fork to Plains as of right now. We meet once a month, and we got the name from the idea that an echo does not happen unless somebody says something or an action is made. And so that's why we named it Echo, because we believe that the actions of this youth should reverberate through the valley and create change spiritually. So that's where our name came from. I'm going to kind of go through what we are, what we're doing, and where we're heading, and kind of give you a quick rundown. So when we started this in my head, as many things start, you never know if they're going to fizzle out or which direction it's going. And so in my head, I said, well, we'll give it 6 months. We'll push this thing 6 months. And if it's still here in 6 months, then we're all in. It's kind of the mentality of going into it. It took about 4 weeks before we realized we're all in. We're going to push it forward. So it's built for teenagers, 13 to 18. We do have some older kids, 19, 20, 21. Some early 20s that come and help out. That's been really awesome. So let's see here. The goal for the Echo movement is to create a spot where these youth can come, they can network, make new friends, be discipled, and we can also challenge them spiritually. And so that's been really, really cool to see. We're just now getting traction. We've been doing this for 8 months now, 9 months. Next month we'll be meeting in Thompson Falls, down at the park there. We jump around from place to place to place. We meet on Saturday afternoons. That way we don't step on any other church's toes. We're not trying to compete with them. We're trying to be an asset for local churches and ministries. And so that's why we do that just once a month. Out of that, we've had kind of some spin-offs, some Bible studies, some good things happening, and we're trying to push the movement that direction where it's youth-led and not as much the leaders. So our goal is to build the framework for these youth to thrive in spiritually, and that's kind of where our heart's at. So that's kind of what we are. We call it a movement because we want to see it move. We don't think that it's limited to Sanders County. We believe that this could be regionally or statewide. We think that God could really use it to grow and work with these kids. And what we're seeing is that the youth are eating it up. There's nothing like this forum, and they really, really enjoy it. So that's kind of what who we are. And then what we're doing here, once again, we go back to our monthly events. Right now we do everything in Sanders County. We've met from Heron, Noxon, White Pine, here, several different times. And once again, our next meeting will be down in Thompson Falls here in a couple weeks. The reason we're choosing Thompson Falls is with the amount of kids that show up. We have last meeting we had 43 that stayed for the message. which was absolutely fantastic. I think we actually had about 47, but some of the kids came and just got food and snuck away, which we're completely fine with. We're actually, if we can help them with their physical needs, the spiritual needs are coming next, you know. So it was really cool to see them sneak in, get food, and leave, because that was their first taste of what we're doing, and that's what it's all about. So our next one's down in Thompson Falls. We don't have any Thompson Falls kids that come to this thing, by the way. We have kids from Plains, Heron, Noxon, Trout Creek, but Thompson Falls is kind of a dead zone for us. So that's why we're focusing on meeting down there this month. That's going to be really exciting. So put that on your prayer list as well. Let me see here. So what we're doing, we do a lot of different community projects. I'll go over one in just a couple minutes. It was really, really fun for Christmas. We're working on building networks. If you think about it, if you were a teenager living out here, I call it the middle of nowhere because this is the middle of nowhere, and you had the option to make friends in different cities and towns nearby, man, what an asset. And so what we're doing is facilitating a spot where these kids can build a network at a young age, build friendships around the whole community. That's going to help them grow as people, and then hopefully grow spiritually through what we're putting into their lives and what we're doing. So for creating friendships and spiritual growth, and eventually that will change our community. That will change Sanders County for the better to have such a strong foundation of youth working with a purpose. Let's see here. Yeah, one of our goals here is for these teenagers to start at a young age as far as becoming spiritual leaders. All right, so we got a couple pictures for you here. One of the things I have written down here is, what does an event look like? So every event we do a game, we do a challenge, we cook really good food, and we do really good music. So one of our goals is everything we do has to be done really well, because I call Western Montana the land of mediocrity. Because that's what it is. When you go out to lunch here, if we have visitors, I tell them, take your expectations, chop them in half, and lower them, and you'll be right there. So we're trying to fix that. Last month we did 60 pounds of brisket and all kinds of good food. And so some of the kids come just for the food, and then they're stuck with us for the rest of the night, and that's just fine. So the events look like the games, great food, worship, and a message. So this is our last event. This was actually down at the park where the Huckleberry Festival is. We had 43 kids come up. It was a really, really good time. I'm not a photographer, so the pictures aren't great, but can you go to the next one? This is actually kind of a spin-off from the Echo. Maddie put together a taffy pull, after Christmas, around Christmas, and we had a ton of kids show up and just goof off and eat a ton of candy. So you can go to the next one. So this was actually really cool. So when we first started, our heart was for the community, and we learned of a handful of families that were really struggling around Christmas time, and we thought, man, what a good opportunity for our youth to get involved, to do more than just take care of themselves and their family for Christmas. So we ended up raising close to $8,000, and we were able to shop for 26 kids that wouldn't have had a Christmas. And so that was really fun to see. And so we took all the youth down to Missoula. We gave them thousands of dollars. They went shopping. Because we weren't a 501c3 at the time, no accountability on that money. I have no idea where it went. But I know, with that being said, from here on out, everything's accounted for, so don't worry. But the kids had a great time, and the kids that received the presents, it was life-changing for some of these families. We had one specific family whose mother had died right before Christmas with 5 kids in a really bad situation. So we were able to really bless them, and I know that was a huge, huge deal for them. So that's kind of the spirit of Echo, is we're here for our community, we're here for our friends, we're building these networks, we're helping folks out, teaching young people at a young age kind of what that big picture looks like. And for youth, that's hard. It's hard to teach the teens what a big picture of helping people is. And so this was a cool opportunity for that. Go to the next one. We also have just kind of impromptu things that happen every now and then. This was a Singspiration that we had at the pizza shop on a Sunday night, and we ended up packing the place out. If the fire marshal had showed up, we'd have been in trouble. So we do just events like that. You can go to the next one. So this picture here is really, really cool. So this is down at the White Pine Church. They let us use the facilities there in the wintertime, and it is really, really cool. So I have a fun story about the White Pine Church. So this would have been our second or third meeting, and we were set up for a pretty good night. We had Josh doing music and speaking and all kinds of fun stuff going on. Well, right before the event, Josh calls and goes, I'm sick, I'm not going to make it. Here's my notes, you can speak. And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. So, and so I was kind of stressing out about the process of that night, how it was going to work out. We had the food, we had the games, we had all that stuff. We didn't have a speaker. We had some guys coming in to do the music that we've never really worked with before, so we weren't sure what that was going to look like. And it was, have you guys seen Back to the Future, where the band member holds the phone up, and he's like, you got to hear this. It was one of those moments where these guys came in and started playing music and kind of leading worship, and then worship evolved into a really good time where you could just feel God's presence in that building. And I'm not a touchy-feely person, and you could tell that God was there, and it solidified in our minds that we were doing the right thing, going the right direction, and it was really, really special. So that was down at White Pine. You can go to the next slide. So this is just a picture. We had a burger contest. We overbought burgers, and so we built 10 patty burgers for a burger challenge. And Keegan Mast won. He ate it in 4 minutes and went on to eat more hamburgers later. So maybe you got to pray for that kid. Something's wrong. But that was kind of fun. You can go to the next slide. That's the winner right there, Keegan. Yep. So there's always something ridiculous going on where you might need to send your kids or grandkids out there with a waiver. But go ahead to the next. So that's another picture of just kind of one of the events, people getting ready for the worship and things like that. One of the things that we actually really try to do is break up all the cliques that come into Echo, which it's really cool to see all these kids hanging out with kids they wouldn't have hung out with 6 months ago. In fact, our very first dinner, we decided, hey, we're going to serve these kids and cook a real big dinner. We ended up doing a steak dinner, and we put all these kids at tables, and it was a 5-course meal, and every meal we'd switch the tables. And so that all these kids got to sit with different people with different funny questions. And it was just one of those great experiences for these kids to meet everybody that's involved. So we're constantly trying to do that. We don't really allow for the cliques inside Echo, which is, I think, very, very important for that age. So, is there any more slides there? You can keep going. Same thing. So you can just leave that one there. So that's kind of what one of our youth events look like. We're doing once a month, so 12 times a year. We also have some Bible studies that are starting off of it. We have a men's Bible study that started 2 weeks ago. We're doing that every other week. We have some other smaller events where kids can get involved. And so one of our prayers is that we get more and more kids that are wanting to get involved and not just showing up every month for the fun and the food and the message. So our entire goal is to get more and more of these kids to where they are a part of the Echo movement and they are leading from the front. Right now we've had a handful of kids step up, and it's been really, really cool. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. So here's where we're going. We actually, like I said earlier, we have big plans for Echo. We think God's using it. It's grown immensely. You know, we keep track of the numbers, not because we like numbers, but because there's a name attached to every number. We've had up to 56 kids show up. To put it in perspective, Knoxon High has 44 kids. So we have a lot of kids coming to these events that we've never seen before, and we know there's a lot more that need to be invited that do need to come. Our heart is for the kids on the outlying edge that maybe don't have the friends, haven't found God, don't have a network, come from broken homes, bad situations. We're there for them. We would love to see more of those kids come in, even if it's just to take food and sneak away. We're more than happy to see that. So our goal and our prayer is that God uses this movement and grows it bigger than what we're doing here. And we're kind of letting God take the lead there, and it's been really good. It started small, it's growing, and been really fun. It's actually hard to plan because we don't know how much food to buy for all these kids. Every time that we've thought it would be a small turnout, it's always our biggest turnout. So it's interesting to see how God's doing that. We're going to be doing more community projects. We'll probably end up doing Christmas again for families in need. So just keep that in the back of your brain. If you run across somebody here in the next couple months, put that on our radar, either Josh or myself, and say, hey, we have a family in need. That's what we're doing. We've had people in this church give so generously to us. It's absolutely unbelievable. We've had so many people that have chipped in 100 different ways. And I just want you guys to know that it is making a huge difference in our community. And it's the next generation, the pride of America that you're investing into, and that's such a great thing. So as far as investing back into the group, we do hope to do some mission trips probably next year. We're working on getting everything we need to be successful, and then we're going to raise a little bit of money and then try to take some of these redneck Western kids on mission trips and give them a little bigger perspective and put them in a spot where they get to serve outside of their community. So the mission trips, that's pretty cool. We're also planning on putting together some scholarships for kids that want to go into ministry so that we can help them and minister with them and take care of some of those physical needs as they grow. And then once again, the biggest thing is growing our young people to lead the next generation of Christians. And that is such a big deal. That is such a big deal to have youth that are Christ-centered, and that's the direction they've chosen to go with their life. And so we're here to help them facilitate that and build the framework for them to be successful. So how can you get involved? I get asked this all the time. We have a handful of different ways. Obviously, we always need people to come help. We always need prayer. We have people donating and giving to us. But the biggest thing for us is we want people to get behind the movement and be brand ambassadors of what we're doing. And so when you meet those kids out and about in the community, you know what's going on that month. You know you can invite them to this. You know what's happening there. You know that God is working in that group, and you can confidently push your neighbors, their kids, towards Echo because you know what's going on there each month. And so those are kind of the ways that you guys can work with us as we grow. It's just basically, in our minds, a frontline ministry that's taking out the Great Commission here in Trout Creek, and that's kind of the direction we're going. That's all I have for you. I did want to open up for any questions you guys have, because I know that me explaining it might have just confused all of you. So, July is going to be the 24th, I believe, 25th. In Thompson Falls. Yeah, we're meeting down at the park. The big, what's that? 4:30. Yeah, so we meet at 4:30, and it usually goes till 8-ish, and then we usually leave, and I have no idea what the kids are up to. So they stick around and play volleyball or do whatever till late at night. Any other questions that you guys might have regarding Echo? Yep, Bunny? We don't yet, but we need to. We're kind of behind the 8 ball on our marketing and stuff like that. Yeah, but no, you're right. We do need to get flyers out. The kids know, and they follow us on social media. So.
One more question. Do you contact the different pastors at the churches because they all have maybe a small youth group?
Yep. Yep, so we've actually talked to a handful of different churches, and it's actually really interesting that some churches love the idea of it, and other churches see it as a competition to their youth. And so we're trying to be very clear that that is not Echo's purpose. We're not competition. There's no spiritual competition going on. It's, hey, we're doing this to build a better network for these kids and a better community. Like I said earlier, that's why we do it on Saturday nights. We're not stepping on church's toes. That was done on purpose. That's another thing. So pray for some of these churches to get behind it as well. Last week we were down at Living Hope and got to talk to them for a little bit, and they've been very, very generous towards Echo as far as letting us use their building, and a lot of the kids come. So, any other questions regarding Echo and what we're up to?
So if we talk to some kids, we can just tell them 4:30.
Yep.
Don't know anything about it.
Yep. Just show up. You're gonna have a good time. And in fact, last time I was walking into the Cenex, and there was a teenage kid in front of me, and I just told him about it, and he showed up. He was there all night. So I mean, most of these kids, if you see them wandering around, they have nothing going on that night. So you can direct them that way. And a lot of the stuff we do is between White Pine and Knoxon. So most of the events are right in here. So.
So the park you're talking about is Tower Park?
Is that the one with the Veteran Memorial there? Right next to the town pump. Yeah, directly west of the town pump there. Yeah. Yep. So we're gonna be doing it there. That's kind of what we're up to. Well, I wanted to leave you guys with a verse. This is 1 Timothy 4:12, and it says, "Let no one despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in the world, in conduct and love and spirit and faith and purity." So that's kind of what we're pushing these kids towards is, yes, you're young, but you can make a difference. This is how you make a difference. And a lot of these kids need that pathway to be crystal clear so they know the steps to take to be successful in their walk with God. And that's the whole point of Echo. So thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, so I wanted to touch on one, so I'm a part of this as well. Worship team, you can come on up. But I just wanted to, one of the things Jim mentioned is we're not in competition with any churches. I think the big thing, one of the big things that was on our heart is there's that passage. Jesus is crucified, he comes back, and he